Hello and happy Thanksgiving from everyone here at Rising. Briahna and I will be back to bring you the latest news next week. In the meantime, enjoy this flashback from earlier this year.
Famed director Ridley Scott is taking some heat over perceived historical inaccuracies in his new epic film, Napoleon. Early French reviews of the movie have noticed several scenes strongly divert from the historical record and portray the French emperor as somewhat of a boob. French outlet Le Figaro quipped that the film could be renamed Barbie and Ken under the Empire, while Napoleon biographer Patrice Guinefeuille argued the film was a very anti-French and very pro-British rewrite of history.
We can't have that. Scott has not taken this criticism lying down. He slammed his detractors and claimed he didn't care about the haters. Responding to critics who say the film isn't historically accurate, Scott asks, "Were you there? Oh, you weren't there. Then how do you know?" He also said, well, the French, they
don't even like themselves, so why would they like the movie? I saw specifically he was being criticized for a scene where Napoleon was firing cannons at the Sphinx and the pyramids, and he said, yeah, I don't know if that happened, but like, whatever.
There's some kind of myth that the Sphinx's nose is damaged, that they shot the nose off. That's apparently not true. They didn't fire at the pyramids either. Napoleon did conduct a campaign in Egypt, so he visited the pyramids, but there's no evidence he shot at them. So I would like to see this movie, although I don't see all that many movies in the theater, and we're now getting to the point where I have like 4 different movies. I want to see Elders of the Flower Moon, which you saw.
That was great.
I would like to see it.
Sobbed.
I need to see every Marvel movie, so I got to see the Marvels, even though everybody hated it, even though we attacked it last week. I want to see the Hunger Games prequel one.
Ooh, a prequel.
I forget what it's called. It's like something of songbirds and I don't know. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Okay. And now I do want to see this movie, mostly because I really have come to appreciate Joaquin Phoenix over time. Mm-hmm. He's great. He's very talented. So I would like to see his interpretation of the character. And I do find Napoleon fascinating. The whole, how many minutes a week do people spend thinking about the Roman Empire? For me, honestly, it's more Napoleon. I think of the Battle of Waterloo like once a day. It's a fantastic battle. This is after Napoleon comes back from exile. Mm-hmm. He returns. He takes command of his army again. By this time, he hates Wellington, the British leader. They just kind of like mutually despise each other, and they head for this like inevitable showdown that is awesome and kind of could have gone either way. And Wellington's people are losing, but then the Germans come in with Blucher, like at the last, at a moment where it could have tipped to going the other direction. It's a very epic, actually tailor-made for cinema. So I'll be interested to see how they handle it.
Yeah, look, I am interested in seeing this movie. I have an interest in Napoleon for, among other reasons, the fact that we share the same birthday, just a few years apart. But he is the most famous person born on my day, and I think that they should do him justice. Now, I will say I do have a bias against these period films that are set in Europe, where they just use a lot of British actors and then a hodgepodge, obviously in this case, of American actors. I am taken out of the movie. I don't understand why, if we were doing a British period film, everyone would be expected to affect a British accent. Mm-hmm. If we're doing a French period film, it's like you're an actor. You're getting paid millions of dollars a year. You can't do a little something. Like, I'm not asking you to make it French. I'm not asking you to learn French or do it in French, but can you at least give me something?
I agree with, although there are those couple almost in a specific style, the style of the movie The Favorite, which was a British movie, but done in Russia, where they have, there's the Death of Stalin one, and I've watched the whole thing, that Catherine the Great show on
Yes,
on
I do like that
was
show.
British accents. That was all really good, so I appreciate that.
The one that really took me out was Chernobyl. I couldn't get past all the British folks, because it's like, just be American then at this point. Like, why are we all pretending to be British to be Russian? I don't understand that. Now, the internet was going crazy over the weekend. There were some pretty funny tweets. Somebody talking about the controversy of whether or not Napoleon did or did not shoot at the Sphinx, parodied it saying, I don't know if Abraham Lincoln showed up at the Battle of Gettysburg and shot Confederates with a semi-automatic rifle while riding a grizzly bear named Dennis, but it was a fast way of saying, dude is about to, the rest is a little bit lewd. So I won't finish the tweet. But like it does, the responses that really were giving were really the issue, right? It wasn't just that, okay, movies contain historical inaccuracies, but that he was so blithely disinterested in being factually accurate at all and was engaging with people in the public saying, I just don't care. It would be cool if this happens.
I was listening to the radio the other day, and the hosts were talking about this movie, and we're asking a fair question that I think is kind of difficult to answer is, what is Napoleon's historical reputation? Like, how is Napoleon viewed today? Like, he's not viewed in an antagonistic way, even though at the time he was, I mean, if you were French, you loved him, and then if you were the rest of Europe, which is a lot of people, he was like, he was the devil, he was Satan incarnate. Today, but because like, and he was an autocrat, he took dictatorial control of the country, but then he also, his invasions of other countries ended up being somewhat liberatory for some of them. The Italians, I'm of Italian descent, Italians loved Napoleon because he beat the crap out of the Austrians, who had been the oppressors of the Italians for a long time. Like there was not and also there wasn't, he was nationalistic, there wasn't like a racial or ethnic part of his agenda, so he's almost kind of like the last figure who is like that, where he's not. People don't go, oh my God, what an evil guy, or oh my God, he was. But and also he's not like a Lincoln or a Washington kind of hero type person. He's an interesting, complicated figure.
That's what it is.
Right? Am I fair? You can tell me I'm wrong, and the left has a totally different view. I don't know.
I don't know that the left has a view or thought about Napoleon per se, but I think that as a historical character, he does seem more nuanced, more French. There's the love story. There's the Napoleon complex of it all, trying to overcome one's own perceived inadequacies. There's something that's very human about him, as I think, compared to some other world leaders who are known as, stern Churchill type figures or something like that. He seems more accessible in many ways. And I think that's part of why someone like Ridley Scott might feel able to take some creative license in telling a very human sort of a story with embellishments. For a man known for being small, he does read as very much larger than life and almost wants to make you do a kind of, remember the movie Big Fish? A kind of,
what is that? It's like a tall tale.
Yes,
movie?
exactly.
Yeah.
Like you want to turn him into a tall tale.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm mixed on the question of. I guess I want my films that are set up as like historical films to strive for accuracy, unless they're going to be they're obvious satire, and then they can. Whereas this is like clearly trying to be. It's almost a biopic of Napoleon.
What about the Marie Antoinette movie with Kirsten Dunst? That was so controversial because they had pink Converses in the scenes.
I don't care about that. I didn't see this movie, so correct me if I'm wrong. Don't they not kill her at the end? I thought she gets away at the end of the movie. That's what offended me about it. Maybe that's what I remember. That it doesn't show, the most famous thing about her is they execute her.
Yeah, but you can choose to end a movie before a thing happens, but that's different than writing it.
I'm looking. Okay, talk for a minute while I look up this. I really want to know.
This was done by the woman director whose father is famous, whose name Sofia Coppola, right? And as I recall, even though there were a couple of those modern moments in the movie, and there's a modern soundtrack.
Maybe they just end it before she dies.
I think they maybe just end it before she dies, which I think is a fine choice. Like I just watched Spencer over the weekend, the Kirsten Stewart, Princess Diana movie, and it's a very short time frame in the movie. It's about one Christmas spent with the family at one of the castles or wherever they hang out. And so, no, there's no death scene. At the end of the movie, she triumphantly drives away with her kids in a kind of liberatory moment. Now, we all know what happens, but I don't think the movie was dishonest in not having to have her die in the film. So anyway, I was just going to ask you about the Marie Antoinette movie, if that sort of thing bothers you. You just, if it's historically accurate, but has weird modern nods, modern music, some modern set pieces design, is that an issue?
Probably not.
It's not openly satirical.
At some point, it's just like whether you like the movie or not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen it,
All
but
right,
I look forward to seeing it.
We're going to have to watch this and maybe redeem it in an upcoming segment.
Yeah. All right. More rising right after this.